What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new news post that was just put up here in regards to the new Pirate Rumble banner. There usually isn't really a lot to talk about with the Rumble units, and I mean, in most cases, I feel like most people can probably avoid this one. However, you know, if you ever want to get your hands on characters that are actually good in Rumble, that are cost efficient, then, you know, the Rumble banners are where to go. However, with, you know, the most recent events happening, a lot of people have spent Rainbow Gems, and I keep saying this, but you should probably wait until the New Year's celebration, which is not that far away now. You know, 2 months to go until we'll get the New Year's celebration, and the New Year's celebration always brings the heaviest hitters of the year. I mean, usually every New Year's we get pretty much a meta-defining unit, and you know, obviously Zoro Sanji with the last New Year's, and we're heading up into this year, and I feel like we'll probably get the same thing again. Now, this Rumble banner is interesting because it does introduce a pretty interesting unit here with this Tsuru. This is starting November 1st, 1900 PST time, which is going to be starting tonight as of the release of this video, and it'll be going for an entire month. So we should get a new refresh at the start of December with the new Rumble banner. We'll wait and see what they have planned for that. This Tsuru is not going to be for everyone. This is not only going to be featuring Tsuru and, you know, the fact that she's a strength unit, but it also is going to feature shooter characters, because this Tsuru is shooter focused, not strength focused, which I think is kind of fascinating. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video. So let's actually break down what Tsuru does. I mean, in terms of the normal content, these Rumble units are terrible in normal content. You're not going to use them in normal content. That's not really an issue. Let's have a look at what this character actually does in Rumble. So have a look at this Rumble ability here. Shooters, they get level 7 HP. And then for the first 30 seconds of battle, shooters get level 5 defense, level 6 special CT. Level 6 special CT is no joke. That's incredibly high. Albeit, it is only for the first 30 seconds. So it means after the first 30 seconds, this character becomes borderline useless because it's just providing an HP boost. So if you end up getting this character, you want this character on the front line, and then pretty much want it to die after the first 30 seconds. It's pretty much how it kind of feels. The unit's special ability though at 22 CT means you're probably going to get this to launch within the first 30 seconds. The effect itself targets your shooter teammates for level 6 defense, level 6 speed, and when you have 70 seconds or more time remaining, it targets 3 enemies for a 30% health cut. And then if the time remaining is 70 seconds or less, then it does 2 times attack to those 3 targets instead. So this is pretty interesting. I like that it does this because shooters are renowned for having characters that don't actually deal a lot of damage. Shooters are very defensive focused, and they will usually spit out little bits of damage here and there. There aren't really a lot of shooters that just do mass amounts of damage straight away, kind of like what the Slasher class does. So what this does is it kind of offsets the fact that shooters really suck at doing damage with giving a 30% health cut. Now, it's not the best amount of damage ever, but with the way this character is supposed to be built is that you want this character on the front line. You know, in the first 30 seconds, all of your characters are going to be using their specials pretty quickly, and then you can go ahead and have this character do a 30% health cut against those opponents, which I think is pretty decent overall. It's not a game-changing unit, but I think if you're building a shooter team, this may be a character you may want to consider. The other thing is that for shooters, they've actually got some pretty good Rumble Rev recruits now. You've got Legend Kuma, you've got the S-Bear character, which is probably the best shooter Rumble Rev recruit out there. So in terms of building, you know, a good shooter team, this is an option for sure. I mean, especially with the way that this character works, but finding space on a shooter team may also be an issue, because you pretty much want S-Bear to be on the front line, you probably want this character to be on the front line, and that leaves you 3 slots for Sugo-Fest exclusives. I'm not really 100% sure what you'd really go with. I know that Kizaru Fujitora is a shooter character that can do a ton of damage. You've still got the Anniversary Legend Ace, which is still pretty good. You've got Raizo Shinobu, who's another phenomenal character, 20 cost unit as well, that could be slotted onto those teams. There's actually a pretty decent amount of options there. The behavior pattern's pretty average, does evade action bind, which is kind of cool at least. And this character does not have a Super Rumble special. I was kind of anticipating that they were going to give Super Rumble specials to these characters. Unfortunately, they didn't. So maybe they're going to just reserve it for Sugo-Fest exclusives. Although when they did introduce Super Rumble special, they did actually give it to that free-to-play Luffy, who is not a legend. So we'll wait and see what they have planned for it. I assume it's probably just going to be reserved for Sugo-Fest exclusives moving forward. It will be interesting to see that whenever we get a new Rumble Legend, will that character have a Super Rumble Special? I feel like it probably should, right? If you're going out of your way to pull for these Rumble units, they probably should have Rumble Specials. Either way, so that's the Tsuru. It also mentions that there's going to be a new single match for Tsuru as well, starting tonight at news time. So you can go to the single matches, and they're going to have like a pre-built team you can go up against. You get rewards for beating it. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of team they actually build for this Tsuru. I assume one of them will be maybe a strength shooter focused team, which could actually work pretty well. But I think mono shooters are probably going to be better than strength shooters. We'll see. In terms of the step-ups, it's pretty typical stuff. Discount multi at the first multi, and then, you obviously go deeper in the banner, you get higher chance at pulling stuff. 7th multi, you get a Rumble special ability level max. I mean, that's kind of, that's a bait step right there, because there are characters that are not Rumble exclusive that do have Rumble abilities, meaning that you can still pull non-Rumble units from step 7, so do be very careful about that. The one where it says on step 4, 8, and 12, where it says you get a Rumble Sugo-Fest only character, that means you get a guaranteed Rumble unit. It can be a Rumble Legend, but it also could be a Rumble Rare Recruit, so do keep that in mind. I know that a lot of people will actually get that a little bit messed up. So you can see multi 2, 6, and 11, you either get a Legend or a Rumble character only. So, step 2 is actually pretty good. Step 3 is another bait step, so be careful about that. But in terms of the characters that are on this banner, you've got the Rumble raid boosted Rare Recruit. So you've got Tsuru, which I think is actually pretty decent. Law is a solid option for strength teams, especially if you're running strength slasher focus squads, which actually are pretty potent now, considering we have characters like V1 Odin, you've got K-Dad, you could potentially use the Momonosuke, Denjiro character, whatever they are, Dory and Broggy, another strength slasher focus character. Like, strength slash is actually a pretty solid core of units. Sanji's really good if you're running a strength team, because, the combination of the 9.5 anniversary Monkey D. Luffy from Film Red, Legend Kobe, the strength Kobe that is, and this Sanji, great core of characters that work really, really well together. And Otama, as we know, very good for free spirit squads, pretty good for fighter squads as well. So I think across the board, relatively good boosted units here. And then of course, every other Rumble Rare Recruit is available. Now in terms of the legends that are available on this banner, a little underwhelming that only 2 Rumble legends are here. Sakazuki, who's been available for quite a long time. Raizo Shinobu is going to be available once again, which is a good thing. I personally don't even have Raizo Shinobu. This character is amazing in Rumble, like a very good disruptive character. Like even just this Rumble ability is pretty good. 6 attack, 6 health, 6 speed. Whenever this character takes damage up to 4 times, your whole team gets a level 1 defense. That's pretty good. And then a special CT at level 25, and then the special ability targets enemies in a large range horizontal for a 100% chance of action bind for 10 seconds. Super annoying to deal with. And then targets your your shooter characters for level 5 CT increase for 20 seconds. And then 1 enemy for 2,000 damage 5 separate times. As I mentioned earlier, shooters are renowned for having characters that don't deal much damage. This character doing 2k damage 5 times, obviously totaling to 10,000 damage, is actually a pretty sizable damage increase from little bits of damage that characters like, let's say, Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, or like Legend Izo have, for example. So this is actually a really good special, not only for utility purposes, it increases your CT for your crew, and also does solid damage overall. Like, Raizo Shinobu is phenomenal. Another thing to note about this character, even though they are fully shooter focused, they are also a slasher character. So technically you can run them on a slasher team if you so choose to do that. Just saying, okay? In terms of the other characters that are available, nothing too noteworthy, I would say, in terms of Rumble, right? In terms of Rumble, nothing too noteworthy. What I will say is that Jack is still pretty good if you don't have him, as well as the Kizaru Fujitora, which we talked about him briefly earlier. This is one of those rare shooter characters that actually can output a pretty serious amount of damage. He does have a 35% health cut. If you've got a team of shooters, he gets attack up, special CT up, and then 3 high speed enemies for 2 times damage 2 separate times. So doing the 35% health cut and then doing the 2 hits of damage, it's pretty solid overall. So that's that for this character in this Sugo-Fest overall. In terms of rate boosted characters, it is what it is. They're going to be boosting strength and shooter characters. So that is the Sugo-Fest for Tsuru. Another thing to note is that CoOp is going to be returning very, very soon. I know that some people were a little confused as to why we didn't get CoOp at the start of last month. They did actually state that they were changing the seasons, where when we have a block of CoOp quest, what they're going to do is normally you have CoOp quest at the start of every month, and then on the third month of that block is the final one. This is the final one for the block of autumn. So we're going to be getting a Grand Feast Sugo-Fest at the end of this CoOp quest season. So that's when you want to, go ahead and hoard those stones and then go ahead and do all those pulls for the new character. That's what's going to be happening at the end of this CoOp quest on November 12th. So they did state that the middle block or the middle month of the block of 3 months will not have CoOp quest. So when CoOp quest starts for the month, you get CoOp quest. Then there is a break month, and then there's the final one at the start of that third month. That's the way they're doing it from now on. Maybe so that people don't hoard too many Grand Feast stones. Maybe. I don't really know. I don't make the rules here. They didn't really give us much information in regards to like what teams we need to build for, but what they did say is that if you have these trusty characters, you don't have to build a team with these units, but it just says if you own any of these characters, they give you additional drops. So you don't have to build a team for them, which is good. If you just own them, you get additional drops. So if you own, the 2 top units, Halloween Uta, Roger and Gang, you get 2 additional drops per unit, so you actually get quite a lot. And of course, it does scale up from there. That's pretty much it. You got the characters that are banned in CoOp Quest. So this is going to be starting November 5th, so you still have to wait a few more days for this one. And look, I know that CoOp Quest is pretty frustrating. It's not the most favorable game mode out there. It's definitely nowhere near one of my favorites for sure. But this is going to be the final block for the month of autumn, so you probably want to play this, get some Grand Feast stones, do those pulls to get that new character. I have heard that the new character is going to be, it's going to be Zora, a new Zora. I believe it's a Wano Zora. We'll have to wait and see. But the character, from what I've heard about, is pretty decent. So we'll have to wait and see what he does exactly in full detail, and we should get that hopefully sometime soon. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video. Just a little bit of brief news I wanted to give to you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.